Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most famous fables ever told, a story you might have heard as a kid, but one that holds deeper meanings the older we get. We're talking about the classic tale of the fox and the grapes. Now, you might think you know this story, but stick with me because we're going to explore what it truly teaches us about ourselves, our goals, and how we handle disappointment. It's a short story with a very long shadow. Picture this, a beautiful, sun-drenched day. The kind of day where the air is warm and everything just feels alive. A clever, confident fox is strolling through the forest. He's had a pretty good morning, but his stomach is starting to rumble. He's not just hungry, he's looking for something special, something delicious to make his day perfect. He wanders on, his sharp eyes scanning his surroundings, his nose twitching, searching for the scent of a tasty treat. As he ambles along, he passes by a clearing and something amazing catches his eye. High up on a trellis, climbing the side of a tall wall, is a vine absolutely loaded with the most magnificent bunch of grapes he has ever seen. They were a deep, rich purple, almost black, glistening in the sunlight like a cluster of jewels. They looked so plump and juicy you could almost feel the sweet juice bursting out just by looking at them. The fox stopped dead in his tracks, his mouth starting to water. Wow, he thought to himself. Those are the most beautiful grapes in the world. They must taste like pure sunshine and sugar. I have to have them. His heart was set. That bunch of grapes became his one and only goal. He positioned himself directly underneath them, his eyes locked on the prize. He took a few steps back, crouched down low, and with all his might, he leapt into the air. He stretched his body as far as it would go, his paws reaching, his claws extended, trying to snag just one of those perfect grapes. But he missed. Not by much, but they were just out of his reach. He landed back on the ground with a soft thud. Okay, he thought, a little annoyed, but still determined. That was just a warm-up. I wasn't really trying. He shook himself off, took a deeper breath, and backed up even further this time. He took a running start, his paws pounding the earth, and launched himself upwards with even more force. He flew through the air, a furry missile aimed at the juicy treasure. He could almost feel the grape against his snout. But again, he fell short. The grapes swayed tantalizingly just above his grasp, as if they were teasing him. He landed a bit harder this time, a puff of dust rising around him. A wave of frustration washed over the fox. He was a skilled hunter, a clever creature. How could a simple bunch of grapes defeat him? He refused to give up. He tried again, and again, and again. He tried jumping from different angles. He tried a running leap. He tried a standing jump, pushing off with all the power in his hind legs. Each time he leaped, he put in more effort, more energy, more desperation, and each time the result was the same: failure. The grapes remained untouched, hanging peacefully high above him, completely indifferent to his struggle. He was now exhausted. His muscles ached, he was panting for breath, and his pride was seriously wounded. He stood there, staring up at the grapes, his initial desire now mixed with a bitter cocktail of frustration and embarrassment. The beautiful, luscious grapes that he had craved so badly just moments ago now seemed to mock him. He looked at them one last time, his nose wrinkled in disgust. Then something shifted. He tossed his head, puffed out his chest, and turned to walk away. As he sauntered off, trying to look as casual and unbothered as possible, he muttered loud enough for any nearby squirrels or birds to hear. I'm sure they're sour anyway. Who would want sour grapes? I wouldn't eat them even if they fell right into my mouth. I only like the finest, sweetest fruit. What a waste of my time." And with that, He disappeared back into the forest, trying to convince himself that he never really wanted those grapes in the first place. And that's the story. It's simple, right? A fox wants grapes, can't get them, and decides they're bad anyway. But the lesson here, the famous moral of the story, is incredibly powerful. We call this sour grapes. It's what we do when we can't get something we really, really want. Instead of admitting our disappointment or accepting our limitations, we pretend we never wanted it at all. We criticize it. We find flaws in it. It's a defense mechanism, a way to protect our own ego from the sting of failure. Think about it in our own lives. Have you ever seen someone apply for a job they were excited about but they didn't get it? And then suddenly they're saying, "Oh well, the company culture probably wasn't a good fit for me anyway." Or, "I heard the boss is terrible." That's sour grapes. Or maybe someone wanted to be in a relationship with a person who wasn't interested, and then they start saying, "You know what, they're not even that attractive," or "they're probably really boring." Again, sour grapes. It's so easy to do because it feels better in the moment than facing the truth. The truth is, sometimes we fail. Sometimes things are just out of our reach, no matter how hard we try. And admitting that can be painful. It's much easier to devalue the goal than to admit our own shortcomings. The fox couldn't admit, "I'm not a good enough jumper to reach those grapes." Instead, he changed the story in his head to, "Those grapes are not good enough for me." But here's the real danger of this mindset. While it protects our ego in the short term, it prevents us from growing in the long term. If the fox had been honest with himself, he might have thought, "Okay, I can't reach them by jumping. Is there another way? Could I find a log to stand on? Could I come back tomorrow and try to climb the wall?" By honestly assessing his failure, he could have strategized and maybe, just maybe, found a real solution. But because he chose the path of sour grapes, he gave up on any chance of success and walked away with nothing but a bruised ego hidden under a layer of false pride. This mindset traps us. If we always blame the goal instead of looking at our approach, we never learn. We never get better. We just walk away from challenges, telling ourselves they weren't worth it anyway, and we stay exactly where we are. So, the next time you find yourself facing disappointment, take a moment to check in with yourself. Is the goal you were chasing really sour, or are you just trying to make yourself feel better about not reaching it? It's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to fail. In fact, failure is one of our greatest teachers. True strength isn't about never failing. It's about how we respond when we do. It's about having the courage to say, "Okay, that didn't work. What can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time?" Don't let the sour grapes mindset rob you of your future successes. Embrace the challenge, learn from the process, and you might find that the sweetest victories come after the toughest climbs. Thank you so much for joining me today to reflect on this timeless story. I hope it gave you something to think about. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories and life lessons. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had a sour grapes moment. We'll see you in the next one.